Hello there guys and welcome back to my channel for yet another Chelsea transfer news video. Yesterday we discussed the possible departure of Hakim Ziyech to AC Milan, as well as Chelsea's reported interest in Kingsley Coman, of course the French Bayern Munich winger. And if you haven't seen that video yet, be sure to check it out with that card up there. Always massively appreciated. And before getting into anything else of this video, I do quickly just want to say thank you for tuning in again. Please do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does mean the world to me, so if you could do that, that'd be absolutely brilliant. But enough waffle now already, and let's get into the nitty gritty. And I'm going to start today by talking about Erling Haaland's reported crazy wage demands, and I'm going to talk about why they will not actually stop Chelsea from signing him. Then we'll get on to Antonio Rüdiger and why everyone needs to calm down, because you will sign a new contract at Chelsea. And lastly, I really do have to talk about Jorginho's masterclass of a performance in the opening game of the Euros last night as Italy beat Turkey by 3-0. Before that though, let's quickly cut to this. Massive thank you to OneFootball for partnering up with me again. But they're not just being great to me, they're also absolutely brilliant to you guys watching. Because OneFootball are doing a massive giveaway. The Euros are about to kick off and I'm incredibly excited for it. But OneFootball are making it even better by giving away official England jerseys to some of you guys. And all you have to do, literally all you have to do, is go into the description below, click on the link, download the OneFootball app, follow the instructions and enter the competition for a chance to win an official England jersey. I've said it before and I'll say it again. OneFootball is a brilliant app that honestly everyone should have on their phones, especially with the Euros coming up now. It absolutely guarantees that you do not miss out on anything. But not just that, they're even giving you the chance to win an England kit. How bloody good is that? So again, go down below into the description, download the app with the link, follow the instructions and enter the competition. Good luck and let's get back to the video. Alright, let's kick things off by speaking about Erling Haaland again then. It's arguably been the biggest story in all of football in the past week, or 10 days, whatever. You guys know full well by now, Chelsea are seriously chasing the Norwegian's signature. And yesterday, it was reported by The Athletic, one of the most reliable outlets there is, that Haaland's wage demands are even higher and crazier than has been reported in the media so far, without ever actually mentioning any numbers, right? They also reiterated what we already knew, in that Dortmund don't actually really want to sell him, so that Chelsea really do have their work cut out to convince them otherwise with a very big offer. But I don't really want to focus on that too much right now. Let's talk about and let's focus on these reports about his wage demands, right? Now, my first question to The Athletic and to Simon Johnson would be, which numbers, you know, that have been reported are you talking about? Because there have been various different numbers, you know, being talked about. A lot of different ones, because some outlets a little while ago now we're talking about Haaland wanting 35 million euros, which, you know, or 675,000 euros per week, which equals to about 30 million pounds a year, or 575,000 pounds per week. So are you talking more than that, Mr. Johnson, or are you talking about more than the 350 to 450,000 a week that was reported more recently? Because that's a big difference. Whatever numbers he is talking about though, some of you are definitely thinking, oh, that's way too much, that will ruin the wage structure at Chelsea and will become a serious problem in the squad and stuff soon. At 350,000 to 450,000 a week, I would probably disagree with you. I explained that in, you know, another video, I think on Tuesday it was. On the other numbers, if they are even crazier and we're talking like 575,000 pounds a week, I might have to budge and say you could be correct. But it doesn't really matter what you think and what I think. It doesn't really matter. Let's get something straight here. We know for a fact that Chelsea have been in contact with Haaland's team and his agent Mino Raiola for ages, for weeks, for months. Chelsea are fully aware of Haaland's wage demands, and still every reliable source out there is telling us that we really want him, and even that we're currently putting a package of transfer and contract offer together to try and land him. If Chelsea were put off by his wage demands, and the wage demands could be why we can't sign him, we would clearly not be chasing him the way we are, because like I said, we've been in discussions with his team for a while. We would not be this far into it if we didn't want to pay him that, because then we know, well, that's not happening. Erling Haaland's wage demands, no matter how outrageous they might be, will not stop Chelsea from signing him. If there is something stopping this transfer from happening, it's Dortmund asking for a bigger fee than Chelsea are able to pay without sacrificing other transfers. That's my opinion at least. Don't quote me on this, but I do believe that Chelsea will pull this off and sign Erling Haaland this summer. Although CFC Pice, you guys know him from our player ratings live streams on this channel, of course, put an interesting idea into my head last night, I think, when he basically told me, what if Chelsea end up signing Haaland this summer? But to lower the fee slightly, basically, we loan him back to Dortmund for the season. And that way we guarantee that we get him, but Dortmund get what they really want in keeping him for another year. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an interesting idea. Of course, it's slightly out there. I know that. He knows that. Because Chelsea will definitely not want to pay anywhere near this much money, even if it's a bit less because we loan him back there. But then not actually end up having the actual player with us next season. But I think as a last resort, if we can't find another agreement with Dortmund, rather than taking the risk of clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, etc. coming in for him next summer when his release clause makes him quite a bit cheaper, I reckon it's a possibility at least. But enough about Haaland. Let's get talking about, Antonio Rüdiger. And I suppose we're already discussed wage demands and contract. So, that leads us on to talking about the current Antonio Rüdiger report quite nicely. Because, again, reported by The Athletic yesterday was that Rüdiger is currently no closer to signing a new contract at Chelsea. And, of course, only has 1 year left on his current deal. And is apparently even considering leaving on a free transfer next summer to get himself a real big payday as his last big contract. Now, is there any logic behind that? Sure. Antonio Rüdiger is 28 years old, turns 29 in March next year, and is at that age where he will get one more big contract in his career. That's going to be it, right? And people always talk about footballers earning way too much money, and maybe they do. Of course, maybe they do. But unlike lawyers or CEOs of companies who can do their job for 20, 30, maybe 40 years, a footballer's career at its best is about 15 years long, and with very few exceptions, the real big money only starts coming in from about 24, 25 until you're about 32, 33, 35, 32, 33, 34, I suppose. So it's understandable that Rüdiger wants to get himself the best deal possible. Like, that makes sense, really. But I do believe one of two things, right? One, that this is another example of Antonio Rüdiger being unnecessarily slewed by the media. Doesn't matter which country, but he's been slewed by the media in every country he's been in, basically. And I've already seen fans have a go at him for this story again. Like, it's like people never learn. Just because someone says this doesn't necessarily 100% mean it's true. Just think back a few weeks ago when Matt Law, and I think a part of The Athletic as well, were basically saying that Antonio Rüdiger was bullying the youth players, when clearly that is not true. Like, absolutely not true at all. Or two, one of the other possibility I have in my head is that this story is a move by Rüdiger's team to make sure he gets the wages that he wants from Chelsea. Put it out there, well, maybe I'm considering leaving and, it won't be that easy to convince, stuff like that, So he gets his demands. Now, firstly, it was always very clear that Antonio Rüdiger's new contract would only be negotiated after the Euros this summer, which, makes sense because he wants to 100% focus on the national team and the tournament. Like I said, makes sense, right? But what brings us back to the big wages for certain players becoming a problem, which we discussed earlier for Haaland, for, obviously becoming a problem for the club in future contract negotiations with other players, is the fact that reportedly at least Rüdiger wants quite a bit more money because also Callum Hudson-Odoi is making more than the German. And Hudson-Odoi is at least reportedly again on £120,000 per week, while Rüdiger currently is on anywhere between £100,000 and £115,000 per week. Sources differ, hence why I can't tell you an exact number because I've seen both, if that makes sense. And let's be honest, Rüdiger is one of the first names on the team sheet under Thomas Tuchel. He really is. He was absolutely outstanding whenever he got to play this season, not even just under Tuchel, because mind you, when Lampard actually started to play the German again towards the end of Lampard's reign, Rüdiger actually played well. And, we all know how good he was under Tuchel. So, considering all of that, and of course the fact that he's much more senior than Callum Hudson-Odoi, it makes sense that he would demand more money. It makes sense to me at least, but I tell you this right now. Listen, I tell you this right now. Antonio Rüdiger will not leave on a free next season. He will also not be sold this summer. Antonio Rüdiger will sign a new contract in due time and make all these reports look quite a bit silly. Do I have a source telling me that that's going to happen? No, I don't. I absolutely don't. I won't pretend like I do either. This is just my gut feeling, and I'm telling you, he will sign a new contract. Come back to this video when he does. I told you. I absolutely told you. But lastly, on today's video, just want to take a moment to praise Jorginho for his absolutely wonderful performance in Italy's 3-0 win over Turkey in the opening game of the Euros last night. First of all, I love the Euros. It was a great game. I loved it. First, a bit dull, I suppose, but it was great. Watching it in a pub, obviously, we all know the situation that we've been in all over the world. So being in a pub again, watching football again with mates is good fun. Good fun. And, but yeah, that was a big win for Italy. A big, big win. Obviously, only time will tell if Italy are that great or if Turkey have been massively overrated by a lot of people, because Italy absolutely annihilated them. And one of the big reasons for that was Italy's midfield and Jorginho in particular. What a performance. What a performance. Dominated everything. His passing was beautiful, how he dictated the game was outstanding, and his defensive work was fantastic as well. Him and also left back Leonardo Spinazzola were absolutely incredible, especially those two. Honestly, brilliant. Most of you will know this already, but I am well and truly on the Georgie Hive. Big up the Georgie Hive, big up Jorginho, what a guy. But that's going to be it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Leave me your thoughts on the Haaland and Rüdiger stories down in the comment section below. Please do smash the like button because it really helps me out and pushes these videos out to more people. That's how us content creators grow. So please do smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because, you know, we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, and the more of you that get subscribed, the quicker we'll get there. So please do subscribe, that'd be absolutely brilliant. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.